Well, ladies and gentlemen, at the time of this recording, I am unfortunate enough to still be alive. And today we're going to be reading another horrible fan fiction, pretty much as always, actually. Today, I have found on fanfiction.net an incomplete fanfiction about Cars, the Pixar movie that everyone liked, except for nobody really did, and it was bad. So better than Cars 2, and maybe this story is also better than Cars 2, but I don't think that it is. So without further ado, let's read Humanized. Chapter 1, OMG, it's Lightning McQueen. Author's note, all recognizable characters belong to Disney Pixar, and it was actually important for them to tell us this. This author, who I believe later on refers to the fact that they've gotten 4 reviews, and that this was impressive, I actually confused them for having written all these characters originally. Now on with the story. Enjoy. Sally was organizing paperwork and surreptitiously hiding little notes around the office for Lightning when he wakes up. They said stuff like, "Don't stress over the next race. Tell me a joke when you see me. Just inspirational things." Sally sighed. Lightning, or Stickers, was working so hard to achieve his second World Grand Prix title. Typical. Sally gently ran her fingers through her hair, hoping pretty sure she's a car, hoping he would calm down a bit and relax. After the first Grand Prix failed miserably, author's note, when Matergate crashed and zoomed through London with a jetpack XD, he was more determined. So when the second one arrived, he won it, of course. Sally loved him so much, but she couldn't spend enough time with him. She craved more time. They had been dating for 2 years, of course. Then, interrupting her trail of thought, was her phone. A little picture of the 25-year-old racer appeared on the screen. Did they ever discuss Lightning McQueen's age in the movies? I don't really care to check if this is technically inaccurate, but I feel like it's not quite correct. Lightning, Sally said, knowing he was now awake. Sal left their house early this morning to set up Wheelwell for the day. Sally answered her phone. "Hiya, Stickers! Finally awoke in your slumber?" "Your slumber," she said. "Unfortunately, yes. Where are you, honey?" he replied, yawning. "Oh, Wheelwell, waiting for today's customers." "I'll come down, Sally. I won't be practicing today since the race is 6 months away, so we can hang out, yeah?" Sally was ecstatic and immediately replied, "Yes, okay, brilliant. See you soon. Love you." "I love you more." Lightning hung up. Lightning hopped out of bed, a smile stretched across his face. He slipped into jeans, a black t-shirt, and his signature 95 leather jacket. I'm going to stop this right here. Are these people? Have they? I suppose that would make sense with the title being Humanized. I suppose I should have realized, although that wasn't really made explicitly clear in the author's note, which they actually wrote. They didn't indicate that this was the case. I don't think it was in the description either. But continuing, Lightning grabbed his keys and opened the door to his Ferrari 488 GTB. Everything was going so well until he heard a scream. That's one of my favorite things about shitty fanfiction, is that there's always a small little burst of detail when there wasn't any otherwise. Like, they described his clothes very broadly, but then they're very specific about his car. And I get that this is Cars fanfiction, but this seems to be a common theme, especially with Cars, where the author will take time to explicitly state what it is, because they don't bother to just paint a mental picture. They gotta use an actual car, and I get it. It's an actual car that exists, but you really couldn't have tried harder than this. "OMG, it's Lightning McQueen," a voice screamed. Oh no, McQueen thought. Then he suddenly remembered he had a personalized number plate. MCQU33N. Motherfucker. You're not allowed to bitch when people recognize you when you have a license plate that says your own name on it. "All part of the job," he said, and hopped out of his car to greet his fan. "How are you?" he said, putting on his celeb smile. "Good, thanks," said a little girl. Can I have your autograph?" "Sally, don't bother," her mom muttered. Lightning smiled at the name Sally. No, it's fine. I would love to give you my autograph." The little girl handed him her special book, which contained autographs of her own, no more, no less. And Lightning, so she has a book of her own autographs, and then she recognizes actual famous people whom she apparently lives close enough to encounter on a daily basis and then get their autograph? Okay, and Lightning began to write. "So, your name is Sally," Light said. The girl nodded. My girlfriend is called Sally. All the best people are called Sally, he said. Author's note, I'm so sorry, I can't find another word for said. Just go with, okay. Professional tip. It's fine to just say said. If you need to indicate something other than said, do it by having your character speak in a manner that indicates something other than, like, just a said tone of voice. Like, every time you feel the need to insert words other than said into your story to indicate that an author is speaking in order to show tone, it means that you've failed to convey tone within the word choice and voice of the character as we understand them. The 7-year-old grinned. Lightning finished writing the special message and handed it back to the girl. Thank you, Lightning. You have made her day, the mother exclaimed as the girl hugged McQueen, then her book. No problem, he said and got back in his car, finally on the way to see Sally. Hiya, so that's the first chapter, which I must say is very short. Hope you liked. Please review for more. Bye-bye, Wolof. XD. This is actually the end of chapter 1. This is 4 chapters long. Although I actually think the 4th chapter might just be one entire author's note. I didn't read it yet. I don't read any of these ahead of time. But it was very short, and it looked formatted similar to this when I copied it into the thing that I'm reading out of. Chapter 2, I Love You. Hiya again, thanks for reviewing. It means a lot to see that people enjoy reading my work. Note to reviewer, I think I might include Doc. Yes, wait and see. XD. Note to anxious readers. If you want a more updated version of this story, same one, just different website, check out my Wattpad page. My username is Woluffy. Enjoy. Again with that enjoy thing, I can't say that I have been up until this point, although frankly it hasn't been as bad as some of the other things that I've read. Looking at you, Sally Acorn's Amazingly Messy Day, by the way. I think that's a bit generous to describe the reader as being anxious. It implies that I want to continue reading this. Lightning pulled up to the car park of Wheelwell. Is Wheelwell the name of the restaurant from the first movie? Because I honestly have no fucking clue. And walked up to the entrance. Luckily, Sally was facing the other way. Consequently, Lightning sneaked up behind her and hugged her from behind. He was always one for hugging people from behind. Okay, I suppose that makes sense, obviously, with his character in the films not having any arms or anything. Is this my favorite girlfriend? Author's note. I know this is from another fanfic, but can't remember who anyway. All rights for this bit go to the account. So, this person, who as you've seen so far is like not really that much of a writer, managed to steal work from another fanfiction page, credit them without using their name or the name of the fanfiction, and apparently only stole one line that doesn't even make any sense in the context. He asked in a very happy way. Why, yes, hello, I better be your only girlfriend, she replied, and then kissed him on the lips gently. Of course, Lightning replied. He ventured around the office and found a sticky note. Oh, knock knock. Oh, you found my note, Sally said. Who's there? Chicken. Chicken who? Turkey, Lightning said while crying with laughter. I don't get it, Stickers, Sally rolled her eyes. Hey, don't worry, me neither, okay? This is a crap joke. What? Why? Okay, so he says chicken, but then says, Lightning began to explain, honey, okay, I get it, Sally lied. Hey, me neither, you know what? I don't get it. My little sister tells jokes just like this. I don't get those either. Lightning wandered around her office again, observing the picture of her and him eating ice cream. He could not wait to propose. Light then discovered another sticky note stating, I'm worried about you. Sally, are you really worried about me? Oh, fuck, hang on. Sally, are you really worried about me? He said. Sally hesitated for a moment and explained, yeah, I am, Lightning. You stay up so late at Willie's butt. I know it's Butte, I'm gonna say butt. And headquarters, in the dark. Then come home and wake up at midday. I never see you in the races in 6 months. 6 whole months. Can't you train at 3 months? Lightning, I love you more than anything and want to spend time with you. We won't get to do that if all you do is train, she shouted. Then looked at Lightning's face, realizing how shocked he was. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, Sally stuttered, but she was interrupted. I forgot Lightning's voice. I'm going to make another one. Sally, if I knew you felt this way, we would have picnics every day. Hang out here, go to landmarks, and spend this summer how you want. Bunny. Motherfucker, there are bad pet names out there, but Bunny might be pretty high up on that list. He said, then tapped her nose. Sally giggled. Sal's nickname was, I thought her nickname was Sal, was Bunny, as on their first date she had a cold and she sniffled all throughout the meal. She looked like a bunny. The name has stuck. Man, now I feel bad, Sally sighed. Don't. I understand how you feel, Sal. Look, you, me, and a fancy restaurant tonight. I will pick you up at 8, okay? Lightning asked. Also, I did take a moment to look it up, and the Wheelwell is the restaurant from Cars 1 and apparently also Cars 2, but doesn't Sally own the motel with the fucking traffic cones? What position is she in to be putting sticky notes all over the place? I guess I'm not a real Cars fan. I guess I'm not a real fan of the Disney Pixar Cars because I don't remember this shit at all. Sure, wait, how will you pick me up? We live together, Sally laughed. Wait and see, Bunny, Lightning said, smiling, thinking about he would propose to her tonight. Then he gave her a quick kiss and started to leave. I love you, Sally shouted as Lightning left. I love you more, and will love you even more if you wear the dress I like, Sally said, winking, even though that was very much yelling and a wink probably wouldn't. Tone, please consider tone. Tone deaf is how I would describe this, but that doesn't mean you don't have to try. Sally smirked and stuck her tongue out, then she watched as he drove away. I love you, she muttered, but was interrupted with some customers. Hello, welcome to Wheelwell. How may I help you today? She smiled. Her routine began again. Hi, we're massive fans of Lightning McQueen and have ventured all the way over from Texas to come see y'all. We should have a reservation booked under Anderson, said a large lady with a very profound accent. Got the accent right at least. She seemed to have a daughter too, tugging at her sleeve. Like Mater Anderson, Sally chuckled to herself. Must be a coincidence. I checked. I paused the recording to check, and no, Sally is a lawyer and owns a hotel, which means they completely made up this whole thing about her working as, I guess, a waitress at the restaurant from the first Cars movie, and just put it in there. And I don't really have anything to say about that. It's just, it's there, and now you know too. Now you have this information. Yep, I see. 5 nights? Well, enjoy your stay. Okay, so now we're back to being at a hotel. I hope our little town impresses you. I will tell Lightning that you were looking for him. If you want to see him, check out Flo's V8 Cafe, or his headquarters, the big stadium-like thing over there. Sally pointed to Lightning's headquarters. Thanks, ma'am, the man replied. Then he noticed a picture of Lightning, who was hugging Sally and smearing ice cream on her face. Are you close with Lightning? Yeah, he is my boyfriend. He is my boyfriend. Sally smiled and gently put her blonde, wavy locks behind her ear. Well, dadgum, I never knew we had a special someone. I'm slipping into the Mater voice, or Sally presumed was, exclaimed. Wait, what? I never knew he had a special someone, or Sally presumed was. The fuck are those parentheses supposed to be offsetting here? Well, he hasn't been asked, Sally giggled, so I hope your stay is pleasurable and call reception if you need any help or assistance. Sally handed them their room key and Wi-Fi password and waved them goodbye. Thanks, dear. The Anderson family of 3 walked out of the glass lobby to their room. Sally glanced at the clock. 6:30 p.m. Very, very precise time. She sighed, then remembered something very important. I gotta go get ready, she proclaimed while grabbing her coat and rushing out the door. Then Sam, who worked at the reception, shouted, Where are you going, young girl? I need help with this paperwork. Okay, so she's dealt with one person, and we've passed story enough for it to now be dinner time. Also, these people are evidently Mater's family, but maybe not. Also, apparently she is still a hotel owner, but they've changed the actual name or location of the hotel. And I have spent more time considering this than I think I ever really wanted to. I need to get dressed for my date, she said loudly. Ah, I get you, girl, I get you, Sam replied while flicking his scarf over his shoulder. I need a guy to go on a date with, he sighed. Then he remembered something about the AC in room 419. Sally, the aircon, what do I do? He screamed while Sally was just about to drive away. But like sand slipping through his fingers, she was gone. That's the single most poetic line in this whole thing up until this point. And it was given to some shitty OC character that was just kind of dropped in there. And in the very brief space they've been in, I know that they're edgy and are gay. And that's their whole personality, because that's what counts as a personality now. He muttered while pulling at some wires. Oh, wrong wires, he said as the lights went off. Chapter 3, Earth to Lightning. Here is the chapter. Reviews. Less of an author's note this time, but just as much of a disappointment. I'm going to go ahead and say this now. I don't read any of these fanfiction ahead of time, and maybe I should, because like the last one, this one is just kind of sucks. It's not like obscenely gross or funny or anything. It just kind of sucks. And that's really disappointing to me, honestly. I hope you guys aren't disappointed as well. And that they just kind of suck. This was rated mature on fanfiction.net, and I have absolutely no idea why. Sally rushed home in her Porsche, which is a clever joke because she actually looks like a Porsche in the movie. Except that that joke doesn't work too well because Lightning McQueen drives a Ferrari, even though the movie has jokes explicitly about him not being one. And pulled up to the drive. Lightning's car wasn't there. He's up to something, she thought as she opened the front door. Once she had managed to get herself upstairs, she jumped in the shower and applied her makeup in the shower. Sally looked up at the clock, thinking she had at least another hour to finish off. The time read 7:30 p.m. Oh no! The 25-year woman screamed, realizing she only had half an hour left. Sally grabbed the dress, which was the one Lightning loved, and threw it on. It was a fitted red dress which hugged her slim figure perfectly. Sally dried her wavy hair with the hairdryer and brushed it through quickly. Sally put on a pair of black stilettos and waited for Lightning to arrive. She had 10 minutes. What the fuck are you freaking out about? Meanwhile, Lightning was getting ready for the night at Doc's house as Mater was unavailable as he was in London spending time with Holly. Good way to write Mater out of the story immediately after pretty much writing his family into it. Also a clever way to segue into Doc being here because your one reviewer said that he wanted to see it. How do I look, Doc? Lightning asked the 36-year-old man while straightening... Okay, no way in hell is Doc Holliday 36 years old. That motherfucker was in his 60s in the first movie. While straightening out his tie, like a man ready to begin his life with a woman he loves dearly, Doc grinned. Okay, another point about this. Doc was old enough that Lightning McQueen didn't know that he'd won the Piston Cup previously. Lightning McQueen, being a race car driver, would probably have been a fan at some point, which means that Doc was, 12 years older than Lightning McQueen, making Lightning 13 at the time when Doc was his age? He probably would have known about the Piston Cup thing, but I guess we're not even considering the source material, and I realize I said earlier that I didn't know shit about cars, but apparently I know a lot about cars. Exactly enough to be disappointed. How do you know I'm gonna propose to Sal? Lightning was surprised. Can we stop calling her Sal? I really don't like that very much. Well, hotshot, I noticed you have a velvet box sticking out of your trouser pocket, Doc chuckled. What the fuck are you looking at his pockets for? Why are you looking at his pockets? I was meant to put that here, Lightning replied as he moved the box to his inner jacket pocket. Doc, what if she says no? Lightning looked genuinely worried. Look, kiddo, if she doesn't say yes, it because you never asked her, Doc said in a comforting tone, evidently while having a stroke as he forgot how English worked. Thanks, Doc, Lightning said. Which might happen if you don't pick her up, hotshot. You have 1 minute until 8. Doc said as he watched Lightning run out the door. If only you were that quick on the track, Doc muttered as he watched the racer jump in his car to collect Sally. Lightning pulled up to his house, jumped out the car, made sure not to crease his suit, and walked out to the door holding up flowers. He knocked. Sally answered and Lightning was gormless. This isn't the first time the author threw in a big word in there just because it looks nice on the screen, and I don't imagine it'll be the last, but as of now it's certainly the worst, and I'm gonna take a moment. Let's check. Google, what the fuck does gormless mean? Okay, chiefly British, lacking intelligence and vitality, dull. Suppose that might explain some of the spellings in here if the person writing this was British, but that certainly doesn't excuse any of the rest of this garbage. Sally looked beautiful. After a few seconds, Sally interrupted him. Earth to Lightning? She chuckled whilst waving her hand in front of his face. Oh, yes, Lightning stammered, remembering why he was here. Hello, madam. Your carriage awaits, he said, bowing and giving her the flowers. Lightning gently took her hand and led her to the car. The couple fastened their seatbelts and began to drive. Honey, you look gorgeous. Oh, fuck. Honey, you look gorgeous, McQueen exclaimed. Thanks, and I must say, you're looking quite handsome yourself, Sally replied. By the way, Lightning, won't the restaurant know who you are and call the press? No, luckily I booked it under a false name and I don't think they will recognize me. After all, I have my helmet on most of the time, Light replied calmly. Then they arrived, ready to dine at the gourmet restaurant. I have a table booked under Smith, Lightning said to the waiter. Follow me, please, sir. He was completely unaware that it was Lightning, somehow. The waiter led them towards a table. Smith, creative Lightning, Sally whispered to Lightning. What? I couldn't think, Lightning said. This is the second time that Lightning was completely incapable of thinking of something that made any kind of goddamn sense. Here is your table. A waiter will be over in a minute. The waiter, whose name tag said Jonathan. The couple sat down and looked at the menu. Do you think Jonathan's another one of those shitty OC that the author dropped in there because people in the reviews are the people that he knew wanted them in there? Or is even fucking one of the waiters OC? Why couldn't this waiter just be a waiter? Did he need to be named? After ordering drinks, Lightning and Sally overheard a gentleman, about 26, which they ascertained by his voice, talking about McQueen. Sally was as intrigued as McQueen. The couple stopped their conversation and listened to the table opposite. No, Lightning McQueen is literally the best racer in the world. He has a world title, Francesco doesn't, the 26-year-old said to the man opposite him. Yeah, I do have a world title, Lightning accidentally shouted and the whole restaurant turned to face him. Whoops, he quietly spoke. How much of an asshole do you have to be? The man, who was speaking about Light, turned to face him. I know you. Wait, are you Lightning McQueen? He asked, quite excitedly. No, I am, Lightning said in his smallest voice. Then he felt a small slap on his leg which came from Sally. She gave him a glare. Fine, yes, I am, he said, slightly exasperated from the whole affair. All of a sudden, Lightning was surrounded by fans asking for autographs. It seems his whole proposal was out of the window. Well, doing it in the restaurant. Lightning felt obligated to sign and take selfies, so once he did that, Lightning and Sally left the restaurant and Lightning drove her to a hot dog stand. Not too shabby. No, I think a hot dog stand is very much indeed shabby. I'd also like to point out that if we're assuming that these are human beings, that means that car racing is about as popular as it is in the real world, which is to say, not really. At least unless you live in, like, Alabama or something. Bunny, you have tomato sauce on your nose, Lightning laughed. And you do too, Sally put a little blob of ketchup on his nose. After laughing and being covered in red sauce, Lightning figured out a way to propose. Finally. Sally, can I ask you 5 questions with only yes or no answers? Lightning asked. Sure, Sally raised her eyebrows. Am I the best racing car driver in the world? Yes, of course, Sally smiled. Am I handsome? Yes. Would you date me if I wasn't a racer? Yes. Lightning, these are stupid questions. 2 more. Am I handsomer than Francesco? Lightning, yes. No more. Wait, you 1 more. Lightning got down on one knee. Sally gasped. Tears began to roll down her eyes. Will you marry me? Yes, Sally said immediately. Yes. Sally said immediately. Lightning put the ring on her finger. Sally then jumped up and hugged him. Stickers picked her up and span her around, then kissed her. But can we wait to tell the town? I don't want to make a big well. Hoo-ha. They're not even... That joke, I get what they're trying to do. It's worse than the fucking knock-knock joke from earlier in the story. If you have flashbacks and you remember that. Yes, Lightning said. Then he went to car, grabbed a picnic blanket, and the future McQueen sat and watched the sun go down. 5 Chapter 4. Author's note. Hi guys, I am so sorry for the break. Please forgive me. Wow! 4 reviews in only a few days. That is awesome. Thank you for reading and enjoy the upcoming chapters. I am writing the next chapter on Wattpad. It will be up soon. Thanks again, Woluffy XD. This was already the single longest thing that I've read so far, and we haven't even gotten to the review section where I piss all over it, and it's still longer than anything else that I've read so far. And nothing happened that's worth continuing this. You know what? Review time. This fanfiction was disappointing in a lot of ways. I want to read things that are truly horrible on here. And when I say that, I don't mean that I want to have a bad time reading things, or that I want my audience to feel like they got cheated after sitting here listening to me talk like a fucking retard for 26 minutes. I mean, I want to find the absolute worst of the worst. Garfield King of Liberty had really horrible grammar, Sally Acorn's Amazingly Messy Day had really horrible content, and fucking Feedaloo managed to somehow have both. And those were all better than this. Those were better than this. And you know why they were better than this? Same problem as with the last video, it's because this one was boring. It just sucked. Nothing happened. There was no reason to read it. Everything that they stripped out of the original world of Cars, they managed to change in a way that doesn't make sense and didn't have to be that way. There were shitty jokes in there. The grammar actually the grammar wasn't that bad. I'll go ahead and give them a 7 on the grammar, because this is the only fanfiction that I've read where they started new paragraphs with dialogue, and that's impressive to me because nobody else managed to pull their head out of their ass enough to actually do that. Post-grammar, we're going to now give this a score for content. You just listened to this, I just read all of this, and I regret having done so. If it hasn't been so long since the last time I uploaded a video, I wouldn't even bother uploading this one because it was so not worth reading. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 for the quality on this one. Thank you for watching. I guess I'd like never to read something like this again. I'm sure you would like not to hear me read something like this again, and I don't mean because it was bad, I mean because it was poorly written. That being said, I'm going to do something different this time and ask anyone that stayed to this point in the video or skipped here because they got sick of my shit, please give me suggestions for things to read in the comments section. Generally not anything longer than 5,000 words because that's how we end up with really long fanfictions that nobody wants to listen to. Generally not anything less than like 1,500 or it's not long enough to justify making a video. Creepypastas, really bad creepypastas would be nice to do. Fanfictions that are about absolutely horrible things, like Dipper Goes to Taco Bell or Pearl's Nasty Clam. Things like those, I don't want to read them because they've been overdone, but things like those would be nice to read. And I'm thinking about maybe doing a longer anthology reading of something obscenely long, like Sonic's Ultimate Harem or some other 700,000 word piece of garbage. Also, I'm thinking about reading the entirety of the Lorax script. If that's something you want to listen to, please indicate so in the comments. But thank you for watching, and bye.